Call the meeting to order. Order. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Consider approval of the agenda.
Wakefield will make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
I'll second it.
Most of them been made and second by Scott Wakefield and Nikki. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Consider approval of January 29th meeting minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and second by Nikki and second by Samantha. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Review and consider action on 2025 Business Improvement Grant Program applications.
Thank you, Chairman. So we received 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 applications total for this round. The applicants, several repeats, some new ones. First one, Ace Employment Agency, Kevin Girl at 124 Ash Avenue North. He requested to replace some HVAC units with some more efficient ones, a new awning on the back door, and a pergola with seating on the side of the building. Bob's Repair, coming back for a request for HVAC and furnace for his shop, and then also to install a permanent water fountain for visitors and staff. Butternut Tree LLC, this is the multi-tenant complex next to former Fill Me Up. They would like to redo a couple sections of concrete and pavers that are tied to their foundation. They currently have negative slopes, so they're having water intrusion on those fronts, and then to fix a sump line associated with that. CoreTrust Bank would like to paint their eaves, which have fallen into a little bit of disrepair. Knuckleheads putting in a grant to replace their front door. They've had some security break-ins on it, and they would like to have that replaced. New windows on the back of the building, painting the back of the building, and restaining their deck at the back of the building. Madsen Rents, they put in an application. They were an applicant last year to redo the exterior and interior of their building. They got the exterior done, and when they opened up the walls on the interior of the building, it was one of those they found much more going on than they anticipated. The ceiling was sagging. They needed to put in some roof venting, and I wanted to also then do more insulation because of what they found, and then redo the bathrooms differently as well. They also put in, so that was for the retail space to finish it out, and then they put in another half of that grant was to fix up the shed in the back with the idea that there would be potential sale of kitchen cabinets and other things out of the back there.
Where is this I don't know the addresses.
That one is 121 Ash. That's right next to the post office.
Yeah, that's what I need, like reference point. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, brand new windows.
Okay,
Pretty windows.
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, they just redid the windows on the corner
Okay, so this
building.
is just to work on the inside now.
Yeah, because they found more, open up the walls and went, oh crud.
Yep.
This project turned into a bit bigger than they anticipated.
Some of us refer to it as the Odie Cell building because it has Odie Cell's name up on the top,
Oh,
engraved in a brick.
okay.
Yes.
Thanks for that clarification.
Yep.
One of the new ones, new business coming to town at the former fire station, North Star Dental, Mark DeRocher. He's going to be putting a dentistry and orthodontist installation there. And then another new business at town, Oh What a Stitch by Leslie Burscheid. She'll be doing quilting and a number of other things in there, looking for flooring and permanent shelving within there. And then last but not least, R&V Service coming back another time here to their 2024 project was to redo the siding, add fencing to their tow lot, and then do some electrical upgrades along with security cameras. And the siding just got finished on their front side. Would be an application to redo the siding and add windows on the east side of the building that faces the highway. So that's just a quick overview of the applications that we have. So we'll need to go through, evaluate, and then score them.
Excuse me.
So I handed out an extra sheet of paper or extra set of papers there with the grant program on there. On the final page is the scoring criteria. When we redid this, we had the tiered system depending on what was being done. Tier 1 improvements scored 3 points. Tier 2 scored. Tier 1 scored 5. Tier 2 scored 3. Tier 3 scored 1. And then we need to weigh project impact and then community benefit. Total of 5 potential points. Analysis of job growth, job retention, tax base improvement, increased foot traffic, and visual enhancement of the area. Next one for 5 points, project feasibility and timeliness. Assess the feasibility and the ability to complete at the specified time frame. And then the last category is a non-funded applicant bonus, which if they've never participated in the program before, then as a new applicant, they get 5 bonus points in that.
Could you remind me how much money we have this year?
I can certainly do that.
Oh, there you go.
We have a current balance of $82,924. There are 3 grants still outstanding, which have yet to be closed out. The one is Madsen Rentals because of the situation he's currently in. That was for $10,000. R&V Service, which they are just buttoning up for $10,000. And Bob's Repair, which they're actually getting work done right now. The contractor took some time in order to get back to these projects. So it wasn't necessarily on the grant applicant. It was
Okay.
more on the contractor who was late in getting these done. Both the applicants did push the contractor to try to get these done sooner, but that's the way the schedule went for them.
So that's all from last year's projects that we approved.
Yep.
Starting new in 25, 26, we have $75,000 available, right?
Nope. This is our balance afterwards, $55,924.
But were we going to get additional funding from the city council at the beginning part of the year?
That includes it.
They denied it. Right?
Don't joke like that.
Oh, didn't they?
No, no.
No, we didn't.
50,000.
Oh,
I thought we were going to go for 75,000. I'm sorry. Okay, well, that was
Yeah,
it.
so the ask for 75 was denied. The 50 was still transferred.
Got it. Okay.
There we go.
Didn't know that. Okay, thank you.
So the 50 has been transferred, so the balance after last year's awards.
Yeah.
Will have
Yep.
just under 56.
Do you have, and I'm sorry, I did not ask for this prior to this meeting. I apologize. Do you have like a list of like, because I know last year you guys pretty much picked most applicants.
We tried to.
You tried to. There was a couple that there was some, I listened to the meeting. But like, just curious, because like we have this money, but some of them are over 10,000, so they'd only get 10,000. Some are under. So I'm just curious, after we score, oh, this is it, right?
So this is the spreadsheet for the 2025 applicants
Okay,
put
yep.
together.
Perfect. This is what I was looking for. So we have 55,000 in total. There's an ask for 62. If we approved everybody, right?
We don't have enough.
We don't have enough.
Yep, because 62 is bigger than 55, right?
But right. But
Yep.
I'm just saying, like, we're close.
Right, yep.
Okay, got it.
Recommend not spending yourself to the gills because there are certain things around town that the EDA pays for.
Okay.
Car
So-
show related stuff
Right.
and other things, so you don't want to deplete yourself
So
dry.
what is your recommendation for a minimum balance?
You get 50 a year, so I would stay within the bounds of that 50. Last year, we went over because we had a little bit of excess in there.
Okay.
But I don't think we wanted to get in the habit of being given 50 and spending more.
Okay.
So when do we get the money?
It's already transferred.
What time of the year do we get the money?
Early part,
So January,
January, February.
okay? So at the beginning part of the year, we get the 50 that goes in. The projects on them, they're dated, they must be completed by the end of the year, aren't they?
There is,
I thought there was an end date.
There's a 150-day window with allowances for extensions depending on the circumstances.
And we gave you the authority to make the extensions.
Right.
And the three that are still outstanding have been in communication with you on reasons on why it hasn't been completed.
Correct.
Okay.
And last year, we didn't do the applications till later in the year, correct? So then things were like busy and booked. And that's why we released them so early this year,
Correct.
so they had more time to plan.
Get quotes, get contractors lined up.
Out of these 9 here that you have, how many got money last year, Nick? Can you highlight those?
Can we
or-
put the 5 in the ones that haven't gotten
Yeah,
automatically?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Sorry, I just,
because they're going to get 5 extra points.
I
in
like
the grading.
spreadsheets.
They're going to get 5 extra points.
Correct, so
because-
put 5 in the ones
Or
that
the other
didn't.
ones that have it, they're going to get a -5, however you want to look at it. They're going to get 5 extra points.
So let's.
So
see.
ACE employment, that looks like one of them.
The ones, so I will highlight the ones that have not. since
Okay,
that's
all right.
easier.
That sounds fine.
Oh, come on now. West Stitch, North Star Rentals. Knuckleheads.
And Butternut, we didn't give them their money.
Yes, we did. They had a project last year.
We did?
Yes.
We snuck them in, okay. Because they had a water issue last year also. Last year's request was to shore up the foundation, remember?
I remember the windows, but I didn't think.
Wasn't it a
so.
foundation issue?
Which
And
one?
the window.
And the
Okay.
window.
Which one is that? Which building?
Butternut, that's
So this is
the,
last year. It's not in the packet.
it's the old Motoski snowmobile dealership.
It's the one next to the gas station.
Across from-
So here's
Okay.
the difference between the two. Last year was to replace windows and do foundation repair to that.
Yeah, because of water intrusion.
That was in the back.
That was in the back, yeah.
Yep. Take care of that, do some of that work.
And they did that.
They did that. So this was last year.
And now they're coming back and they want more water intrusion work?
So the difference being, we'll go to their application
They,
here.
oh, they want cement work.
This is out front, whereas it's the side of the
Ah.
building. There are negative slopes. When it rains, water runs
Runs
towards
in.
the building, drops down in, and that'll continue affecting the foundation. What they want to do is tear this out, re-slope it to get the water to go away, so it's no longer
Mhm.
draining down towards the foundation.
See that little chunk of wood there? Or the little, right there, that's a little chunk of wood you can pop out if the drain is probably right underneath there. So it's probably actually sloped this way a little bit. So when that drain is actually plugged. So the idea is that if the street level is higher, you got to have some way for the water to go away.
Yeah, it looks like that sidewalk comes up to it. I
Yeah,
don't know, from the sidewalk to there. The sidewalk to the door, is it negative? Must be.
It
So
says it is in the.
Brad and I, are we supposed to do this exercise or not?
yeah, of course you can. It's just the two that you have.
Yeah, you can do
Yeah.
this exercise. You just have to accuse yourself from
The voting.
discussing the applicants for which you have direct input, unless it's a factual question in nature.
So you can talk about 8 of them.
No, I was just.
Brad can
wondering,
talk
I mean,
about 7 of
If,
them.
if we vote
My
for
math's
them,
right. Yep.
Well, we're just doing a point
We're just doing
system.
the points.
So
Okay,
there's no
good.
voting.
Yeah.
as
It's,
far as giving them,
we
we
would
could, we
be,
could load our points. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
well, you wouldn't be able to
Yeah, you two
add
can't.
comments on what points they should get your,
we would be doing the point system though, Brad, or just we wouldn't restrain from it. I just want to know where we're at.
no, you can do it for everybody but your own. You
Right.
can't add input. We can be talking about points for everybody, except you can't talk about points for your
Yep.
All right.
specific
I'll hang
building.
I'll hang in there and see how it goes there.
So you could talk about ACE employment and give your thoughts
Oh,
on
okay.
points. But, so can we, because we're giving scoring right now, add 5 to those 3.
Yeah, so these three.
And I think we either start with those 3 conversation first, and then we go back to the top and work our way down.
I like that idea.
Yep.
So knucklehead.
I didn't know Knuckleheads was as bad as what it was. Once you look at the pictures,
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of
You
the other
know?
stuff we can do right off the bat.
Okay, I gotta go to I love paper. I do.
When it comes to the program itself, something very easy is the tiered system. Because some of these projects clearly fall into some of those.
No, I haven't done this before, so
That's fine.
So Knuckleheads looks like tier 2, yep.
Right, so I'm gonna go right down the top here. So we'll add some of those at the end. When it comes to tiered scoring, that's also pretty straightforward. You have HVAC, that's a tier 1. So that's gonna be 5 points right off the bat.
Why do you do 0.5? I'm just curious.
Because if I just do 5+, no, it does do it like that.
What if you did the equal?
Yeah. Bob's, that's HVAC, so that's tier 1. Butternut tree redo, this affects the concrete, so that's one
Yeah.
of those.
Okay.
When it comes to core trust, exterior painting, that's aesthetic, so that's 3 points. Knuckleheads, new front door, windows, that's 3 points. Madsen rent, ceiling insulation broom.
Yeah, this is good.
Roofing, electrical, plumbing.
I like how this is set up so far.
That falls under the plumbing,
So that's a 5.
that's going to be a 5. Electrical, walls, plumbing, flooring, ceiling, that's 5. Oh, what a stitch, flooring and shelving,
That's a 3.
arguably a 3.
Yep.
R&V reside, that's a 3.
Okay,
So
then
points or tier 3?
Well,
A
you
point.
get
3 points.
Points.
okay.
3 points.
Yep, these are points.
So then go back to the highlighted ones and add 5 after the 3. So Knuckleheads 3 plus 3 plus 5. Yeah, you're gonna do the formula. Okay, yep, there you go.
So this we can easily.
Yep,
copy
there you
paste.
go.
Oop.
And then it jumped. There you go. Yep. There you go.
okay.
Okay.
So then what's the next range?
Probably other easiest one on there, project feasibility and timeliness
Okay.
for 5 points. I think we can assume all these projects will likely get their projects done. Other than the contractor issue, they all would have been done. And then there's the opening up of the walls. A lot of these, I don't have any concerns about getting that done. They're probably talking +5 on all of those.
Well, definitely butternut because of the water issue. But yeah, all of them probably are.
I didn't see any of them that gave me pause for concern.
East, that's the old bank.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one should be.
First of all, I do like giving the 5 extra points to the ones that haven't had a grant. I really
Right.
think that was
What if
beneficial.
it's asphalt work? You still give them 5 extra?
Asphalt? Asphalt is tier 1.
2-1.
But if they're new, they still get the 5?
Yeah,
They
so
would.
if it's asphalt and you've never had a grant before, you get the 5 points
Yep.
because you are new.
Okay.
Because you're new, not because it's asphalt.
Yeah,
Okay.
you get 1 point because.
You
it's
have 1
asphalt.
point because it's asphalt.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, what other category you got next?
Yeah.
The final category was project impact and community benefit, up to 5 points.
So this is probably where you're going to have the differentiation.
Right.
Yes.
Job creation, job retention, task-based improvement, increased foot track, visual enhancement. Got a lot of things going on in that one. Because really, I would take job retention, tax-based improvement, separate that from enhancement and make a second category, but we don't have room in the, we're being little too, but
That's
you almost
not
could,
what we approve.
I know, right. I'm just
But that's
saying,
something we can do as an improvement for next
Well,
year.
right.
When
Yeah.
we've done it for 3 years, it's gonna start getting a little bit more technical.
right.
Yes.
Visual improvement should be its own.
If we should want that, we will deal with that at another time.
Right, but not today and not in this not in this year's, right.
And then can I just say, and I do think that I know that city council denied the request for additional funding for this year.
Because
I don't recall the conversation. My guess is because it's new and we're still trying to figure out the benefit of it. But I think if we can come with these before and after pictures to city council
and show them.
and show them and then show how many applicants we've gotten now 2 years in a row and that it is actually a benefit, I think that there is room for an adjustment.
Well, if we could have got that additional 25,000 in funding, we wouldn't be having these conversations. We would have funded all the requests.
Correct,
'Cause
but
we would've this is a good thing. It is a good practice, right?
Yeah, so we're trying to
Yep.
see the benefit, and we've already seen that benefit by the aesthetic pieces.
Right, this
if we-
category,
yeah.
right here. Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to throw that out there as I don't think we should give up on asking
Absolutely not.
with additional proof. I think if we can take some of those before and afters and put those together as like a nice, like, also if somebody comes in and asks, like, this is where
Right.
this fund
And
money.
then get that in the third quarter, Q3 of the year
Mhm.
to the city council. So it's not like we're dropping it on them when they're trying to adjust their budgets for the year. Let's get it out to in Q3 that here's the improvements that we've done on these
People are noticing
properties.
them. I notice things on Facebook
Yeah,
that they're saying like, oh, look at the place with the new windows, or,
yep,
what's going in there,
Oh yeah, people want to know.
Yep.
yeah.
I'm getting those too. So get it to them Q3, like the goal would be Q3, get them some of these improvements. So then they're not feeling so rushed and they can have time to drive around and say, wow, these grants are really making a difference within the city. We probably should fund another 25,000. So,
We've never had this much movement
I
on
know we've done this
fixing
before.
of-
For some of us been
of-
on the board a long time.
of businesses.
We've done this before and got absolutely nothing in the response. So this is great. I love
Okay,
it.
so I'll stop yammering.
So the last category we have is the project and impact and community benefit. I think this is where you're going to figure out where you're going to be slicing things and on the funding.
Well, the two of them that stand out to me are North Star Dental and What a Stitch.
Correct. Because they're,
Because they're- They're going to bring foot traffic in. They're going to, if you look at that definition, it kind of hits all the marks underneath that. Yeah.
yeah, so I would give them both
Analysis job
5.
growth, obviously they're adding a job, just if there's one person in there. The second thing was, flip back. Job retention. Well, we hope that, they're going to stay in business and maybe add a job as their business expands. With the orthodontist, he's going to be in there as the guy doing the work, but you got to have somebody answering the phones. You have a prep tech, probably may have 3 people in there. Tax base, obviously, if we have more businesses in town, it'll help improve that because the valuation of the building and the entity will go up based on income valuation.
And if you have people
Foot-
coming into town,
Yep. I'm
oh,
going
they're
to
using the
dentist.
gas station, we need something to eat.
And foot traffic, that's the next one, Nikki, that you referred to, is increased foot traffic overall. Hey, look, they got a splash pad overall. Look, they're having a car show. And then the visual enhancement of the area. Not so much in this because in the form of, you look at a really degraded building and you're making a big improvement, but it is an improvement overall. So,
So could you do, because it doesn't really have a visual, because the visual is already done,
right,
do you give 4 points?
right.
Because they hit everything
They hit
but
everything
the
else.
visual.
Yep.
So you do
That's-
4 points.
That's what I do. That's how I would do it.
I like it. Anybody disagree? Like, yeah.
So I
I
would
think you
give
add
North Star
4 to North Star, and
Dental and What a Stitch, an additional 4 on each.
do you,
Samantha?
other people
Yeah, that's fine.
agree?
Okay.
You can't say anything.
Right.
You can,
Oh,
but he can't.
Oh,
Okay.
What are you doing up here? Seriously?
It's just your formatting. Because everything else was $1 and you probably copied.
Yeah.
Also doesn't help that my hand was hitting the touchpad.
So you can just change the,
I'll clean it up after. It's still all the same. It's just got a dollar figure in front of it.
okay. All right. Next would be knuckleheads.
Yep.
So, and then you have this right here on the
Yes.
back. So if we want to just read, so
No.
So Knucklehead's job growth, it's already a current business, so they don't really wait in that.
No.
Job retention, because the building's nicer.
The biggest one is the next one, tax-based improvement. So the assessor will come by, you'll see the improvements to the building. That will be increased probably 15 to 20% based on the dollar amount that they're putting in there.
Yep.
And then the visual enhancement is the biggest one of all of them, obviously.
Right,
because
so would they get
2.
3 points or 2 points? Because would it really increase foot traffic?
I would say 3
3.
out of the 5.
Agreed on 3?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so now I think you can just start from the top.
Yeah.
Ace Employment Agency wants to not a ton of detail on this one. He wants to replace the HVAC units with more efficient ones, add an awning on the back doors, on the back side, and then construct a pergola with seating area on the side of the building.
And this is the old bank
The
building?
old security bank building.
Okay.
Is there an ETA on opening?
So
What is it?
here's where I'm going to throw in a technicality that we placed into this year's program.
Okay.
We said if there is a vacant space, if we don't know what's going to be happening with the building, there needs to be some sort of plan put forth about what are you going to do with it. We never received anything of that order.
Also with Matson Rents, same thing, right?
We knew what he was doing last year when he explained it, and this is more of a continuation of that project. So I don't feel it's in the same boat
Okay.
as that. Close, but not quite.
So are you saying like, should we be funding businesses that aren't putting anything in there over and over again?
That was what is put in the program, because
Yeah.
that was one of the concerns that was had.
Right.
With Madsen Rents, he explained last year, the purposes of his project was to get this up, get it into a nice open rentable space, and then get it out on the market and get it rented. We knew that was his plan. With Kevin, we do not know what the plan is,
And, okay.
the end stage.
But there also is the things that you guys had done last year actually improved the aesthetics of downtown in general
Yeah, it looks
by
nice.
adding the awning. It looks nice. So yeah, we don't know what's going in there, but it does make the building more susceptible for if he's renting it or adding
Yeah.
a business. So to some degree in this case, and
I
can
think
you,
at some point.
you know, that
Look up
it
the-
is adding value to the community because the building is actually getting,
Right?
but I don't think you should get as many points compared to other businesses that have,
So visual enhancement.
If I'm being
One.
completely honest, I think he's disqualified.
okay.
Because he hasn't really told you what he's planning on doing.
You're speculating?
Yep.
Okay.
Tell me when he's going to be up and going and advertising that vacant space.
Yeah. So
The
why
answer
put
is-
money into something that may or may
And
not?
the answer is we don't know.
Yep. And that's,
All right. So then you could give him 0 points for
Right.
this section.
Yep.
Because it's, what is the community impact? We don't know.
I'm saying you disqualify his application entirely
yeah,
Oh, okay.
because he did not submit the requisite baseline.
to begin with.
And that's part of the program is they need to.
I like Kevin. I've worked with him, but we have no plan from him on when it could be 5-10 years down the road. We don't know. It
Okay.
could be next year. We don't know, but that's where in the project documents,
And that was a criteria last year as well.
Correct.
here it is, number 7.
Okay. Yeah, then I 100% agree with you.
Now, when it comes to Matson Rents, tell me what makes you think that 7 isn't the same for Matson Rents?
He
Because
explained what his plan was last year.
what was the plan last year?
He was going to renovate the space with the grant last year and then put it out on the market for rental for whatever is qualified under the C2 district.
There's more damage.
The caveat with this is he opened up the walls and went, oh darn, I need to do more work. So it's not like the plan changed. It's that additional funding is now needed to then achieve the plan that was already in place.
So the
It is a
ACE
slim
employment-
differentiation, but I think it's an important differentiation.
Well, to me, did Kevin even say they were, or Ace Employment, sorry. Did they say they were going to rent the space out or nothing? They haven't said anything.
I didn't receive a plan.
Right, where
From them.
the other one actually said we want to rent the space out. but they can't now until those fixes are done.
Right, so they answered.
So they don't know
the
what's
second.
in there, but their plan is to rent the space.
I know from Michael Madsen that once the space is finished off, like you, is going to try to attract a tenant.
I can't imagine what he spent on those windows.
Oh my
I don't
gosh, I
think
know.
20,000 covered that.
Right.
He's putting something into it.
So with Mr. Madsen, it's a matter of, I need some extra money to get this project done because I found extra things.
Prepare the building to lease it out to some sort of,
If he had not had those things happen, he would be done, the space would be finished, and it would likely be on the market right now.
Oh.
Finding a tenant. So he would be achieving that, which he set out.
So.
That's what I think the differentiation between the two is.
So tax base improvement and.
Can we go back to the
visual.
scoreboard?
So 2 point.
So, yeah, I'm thinking Madsen rents gives them +2. Ace Employment gets 0. Unless you just won't even take them off of there. Or scoring put 0. It's up to you. I mean, it's up to us, I guess. It's not up to you, but technically he doesn't qualify, so I would think that's a 0.
I think it's a that.
Yeah, it's a that. And then add
say something.
2 for Madsen rents.
We should go in order.
We agree.
That's what he applied.
Okay.
I just have them in alphabetical order.
I know,
Okay, so this one you guys were saying +2?
for Madsen,
Yep.
yes. And visual enhancement and tax base improvement.
So, I do have a question about that project.
Mhm.
So they have the shed, like I'm confused.
That-
Yes,
that's not
thank
part of
you.
his house?
Thank
Like,
you.
I'm very confused of
Thank
like
you.
what's going on here.
Thank you for bringing up. That's actually a thought I actually had as well. So he's asking for 2 parts in this grant. One is the shed fixer upper, and then there's the retail space, which was part of the original plan.
And what's the shed? What's for that? What is that? Where is the shed? I don't,
It's in the alley.
okay, I don't go in the alley, so
Okay,
that's
You
my
come up
fault.
to Second Street for the car shows.
Yeah.
That's this way, then the alley goes down to Knuckleheads.
Okay.
People park like up by the garage, yeah.
I'll bring
Okay.
it up.
And he wants to rent that space as well? Or
A little less defined.
during the
Yeah,
renovation?
because he's calling it a shop.
Are you able to say that we are only qualifying him for one part of his scope of project?
You're going exactly where my mind went. So right here is the garage. On the back here, so this is the front part, highways here. Here's the front, this is the living space, and this is the shed in the application.
Okay.
You're going exactly where my thoughts were, not that I'm trying to influence the board, but I think the only part that you would look at funding is the retail area to finish
Yeah.
that off.
Yeah.
Right.
If you would like to apply for something else in a future year, I think that can be dealt with at a separate time.
Well, right, because what's he doing in the shop? Is it a business?
I've seen where he's, it's setting up stuff that he's gonna sell in his front. So it's kind of the back shop that fixes things to put up front. If he buys cabinets and has to do some fixing.
Well, either way, his project's $20,000. So he wouldn't be getting funded for the whole project anyway.
If it's match though.
It's the
So
match,
if we
though.
give 10, he gives 10.
Right.
20,000. That's for all of it.
And even if we just said the retail side, that's still 10. So,
No, just the retail side would not be 10,000. Well, again,
No.
it's 1-to-1. So if you have a $20,000 project, you get 10. So if you
Oh,
take the
okay.
shed out and
Yep.
it's a $10,000 project, he only gets 5.
Does he have it split up?
So yeah.
Okay.
3, 5,
okay,
Yes.
see, that's, I get
Okay.
it.
Yep,
Okay.
It's
He
a
has-
little more than 10.
1-to-1 to me says 20 to 20, like, but it actually means 50%.
Correct.
Correct.
So that the total project,
So can we change
Can
his,
be up to $20,000.
can we change his
So
qualifying
from-
grant
Right.
request to
Yeah.
5,000?
3, that's 5.
Correct. That is up to
You
the
want to put
board.
it in there? We gonna make a motion to do that?
It's a little
We'll make
over 10.
maybe we'll make a all encompassing
Let's look at the
motion.
breakdown first.
It's.
It's
just
in,
tried
it
to
is in
run
his
that.
grant there,
Yeah.
so.
So 20,
It might be higher than 5.
So we take
So-
just the retail.
I think it's
just
10,300 if I can do math right.
Mhm.
I feel that's close.
That's,
There you go.
sorry, my hand is hitting the pad.
Get it together, Nick. Yes.
Look at you. I'm so proud.
Okay, and then how much of that is the shed?
That's,
That's just the
Just
retail
the
building.
retail. Got
That's
it.
just
here,
retail.
here, Scott, if you find that.
So that would be the
This
grant
is the
amount.
retail.
Got it. Perfect.
I feel more comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Yep,
Me
so
too.
I-
Yeah, I want my shop.
I think next year he could look at the shop if he gives us more detailed of what that means, but I feel that the retail is the building that we should be focusing on.
Am I looking at this wrong? I come up with 10.2 and you guys say 10.3.
Yep, you're looking at it wrong.
Because he didn't include the parking lot
No,
patch.
that's shop. So shop is the shed.
So 2, 3, 4,500 and
Is there one
800.
down here you're adding?
That's your add up.
Oh, I was adding the other one.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
So we're at 27,100 right now. If you put mats and rents in there and the other ones that are highlighted,
So let's finish the scoring for mats and
Okay.
rents.
all right.
So for the front, it would be what? Tax base improvement and visual.
Big time and
So
visual.
2.
Oh my gosh.
Foot traffic too.
They wrecked us.
Foot traffic, visual,
If it opens this year, I guess, foot traffic.
tax base improvement. Yep, he's gonna get assessed by the assessor. Which will help the city of Mayor with their tax base. So I would say there would be a 3 out of the 5 at a minimum.
I was gonna say 4.
Okay, I wouldn't argue with that.
I can go 3.
I'll do,
3?
I would do 3.
3 wins. Okay,
And then can you change the project cost from 25 to 10.3 so we can see the grant
Yeah.
request?
that'd be better. Then take the 21,000 of base employment out too, can't you? Or is that, now we're just playing games? Take the 10 and 21 across the top up there out.
Yeah.
While you're doing, making some adjustments, go up to the top. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delete that and then delete that other one. There we go. Now we're cooking.
Okay.
So are we
But let's still keep,
Bob's or what are we doing?
yeah, let's do Bob's.
Bob's next.
Bob's repair, HVAC and furnace for the shop, and to install a water fountain.
Sandy. Hey,
Should I close the doors after we get everybody in there? Or you
You could probably close our door. We're not looking for anybody else.
Okay.
As a note, I have that exact same T-shirt at home. I recognize it.
good job, Sandy.
If you want to wait till you just start shooting, then close it at.
Yeah, right.
Well, we do have the laser gun.
Laser.
Do we want to be,
Is the water,
do we
I-
want to be funding water fountains?
does it matter if the water fountain's for customers or employees?
We don't differentiate
We don't,
that.
yeah.
Okay. I don't,
I didn't see the water
that it's
fountain.
No, we can-
as a fundable.
You might
So
be able
I have
to
a
look at it as
question.
health thing.
I have a question. So like we did for mats and rents, we can remove things from the project that we are not funding.
he did not do a breakdown.
Yep.
Oh, wait, I'm looking at
It
that.
might up his water bill.
He did do a breakdown.
I think with Bob's, I don't know if water fountains are something you want to be funding with this kind of grant program. But if you eliminate the water fountain, which was 2,000, it's still 20 and the grant request is still 10.
Right.
So it doesn't materially change.
Okay,
the
I
grant
agree with that.
request.
Remove the water fountain.
What are we giving him for points on impact?
Okay.
Well, it'll have impact on the tax base. It's not really gonna do much for foot traffic
Or visual.
or visual.
So 1,
So 1.
One, yeah.
people might.
And then can you just change project costs to 20,000 just so we're fair? We know. Okay. Okay.
Are we in agreement with one?
Butternut Tree, redoing concrete pavers to address the negative slope issues and fixing a sump line.
Well, aesthetics, it makes a big one. It's right in front. It's not like it's in the back.
So that's one.
Yep. But traffic will be dry instead of wet.
Improving,
Where
so it's
is this?
improving the foot
Yeah,
traffic.
if it-
I think two, because it just tax base and
Yep.
visual.
I don't think it'll affect tax base.
You know,
I think it's a one pointer.
then one.
You think it's a what?
One pointer.
Where is this? Why
So
can't I place it?
it's right across, right by the car wash, the next building over to the south. Used to be the
Apartments up above.
apartments
Oh,
above.
yeah, okay.
Is it gray in color?
Yeah,
Did
like
they?
realtor.
Yeah, all the
or
real
something.
businesses on the
Okay.
bottom
Yep.
with
Yeah.
the little, yep.
Caps lock on. Cheap.
Used to be the motor ski dealership back in 1972.
They aren't gonna remember that, Scott.
I know,
You're dating yourself.
I know.
In two of
Didn't it
us.
used to be a liquor
I
store too?
remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Used to be the liquor, mayor of liquor.
Yeah.
Yep,
Tough all work there.
right there it is.
There it is.
So
There it
yeah,
is.
In
one
relation.
point, they already made it aesthetically more pleasing.
Yeah,
That was before the grant.
True.
Yeah, but it's,
True.
it,
Sorry about your luck.
yeah.
but
That's the
it
windows.
technically with that one cement that looks bad, it's
Looks
Yeah,
technically
horrible.
yeah.
when you're walking by.
Yep.
So one or two?
I'm gonna say two.
I could do either. I was at one.
Because Bob's isn't gonna give you any aesthetics, and we gave them a 1. I would say this is more aesthetics. I give them a 2.
That makes sense.
I can go with that.
Cortrust Bank. Painting their eaves.
Well, aesthetics is obviously the one that sticks out there, but I don't know if it's gonna do much for anything else as far as tax base or,
I'd say one then.
yeah, I'd say 1.
Good with that, Sam?
Yeah.
And last but not least, Mr. Stifter.
Would that be two?
Wait, something's wrong here. There.
Well, aesthetics obviously is big.
Yeah. So
It looks beautiful, what's been done already.
two, because it's,
This is the
Yeah,
RVs.
it
They
does-
have the exposure to
Oh.
the,
So that's the 2024 grant. That's at
Right.
the front of the building.
yeah,
yep.
but the side still, because
The
it's so
side's still
visual.
yellow, I'm thinking, so.
The other side's yellow.
It's so visual. And then would that improve your tax base?
Yeah, it would.
So
All of it
two.
is.
Because it's not going to add more jobs or job retention
No,
or increase foot traffic.
no.
Okay.
Okay.
Sam?
Yep, that's fine.
Now, we had talked about earlier, we have 55, but our goal would be 50 because that gives us almost 6,000 to remain to do additional things.
Correct.
So,
Looks to me like all of them can be funded.
correct.
Yep. So I'd make a motion to
Fully funded?
fully fund all the requests for 2025
As presented and
as
adjusted-
presented.
And adjusted.
Yep, and adjusted.
Adjusted, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Madison was
not based
adjusted,
on
right?
their application. Yeah.
No,
Madison
Right.
was
based on the
adjusted.
adjustment that we made
Right.
and the scoring. Based on scoring, the adjustments that we made, I would make a motion that we would fund all the 2025 grant requests for $47,423.
So just for the record, I'll read them off.
Okay,
Bob's Repair was adjusted from 22,000 to 20,000 for a total grant request of 10,000. Butternut Tree LLC, total project cost of $8,023 for a grant request of $4,011.50. Core Trust Bank, total project cost of $7,325 for a grant request of $3,662.50. Knuckleheads, total project cost of $10,101 for a total grant request of $5,050.50. Madsen Rents with an adjusted project cost, removing the shed and just doing the retail area, for $10,300 for a grant request of $5,150. North Star Dental with a project cost of $50,000 and a grant request of $10,000. Oh, What a Stitch with a project cost of $4,096 with a grant request of $2,048. And R&V Service with a project cost of $15,000 and a grant request of $7,500. With Ace Employment Agency disqualified from the process.
I like it, and I like that. I really do like the 5 extra points. I do, because
Yep.
I mean, if we would have had to eliminate, that would have put them
Right.
Yeah,
a
low.
little bit on the top end.
Right.
So not the same companies, because we don't have very many, like,
Right.
well, this is exciting.
Motion's on the floor, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second to accept the adjusted program applications. Is there anything else? Is that fine?
Yep.
Any discussion, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
For a third category, say all abstaining.
Yep.
I was kind of thinking about that, but I didn't know how to say it.
Oh,
yep.
All abstaining? Aye.
aye.
Aye, aye,
Very good.
aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, board, for your hard work.
Yeah.
It's gonna be another successful year.
Individual reports. Anybody have anything that they notice somebody doing or something not doing and would like to be corrected or not corrected? And
What's new on the creamery? I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask.
Can we update on the
Oh,
creamery?
yeah.
He's a bit preoccupied with his wedding coming up. Closing has happened. Again, he still plans to do second floor apartments, first floor commercial space. The idea for this year being he's going to get the building shored up in 25 and fix the ceiling, get it shored up, tear down the lean-to, and then 26, the magic happens to get it to turnkey.
What happens if that, I mean, the secure of the building and making it, we already had with previous owner
Correct?
that has come and passed with no action. How do we make sure this happens in 25? Or how, does that make sense?
That'd be a
Keep bringing-
city council.
keep
deal.
bringing it
No,
up
I know, but I'm
everyone.
just curious, like in general, like,
So like, we're not speculating that it'll go this course, but let's have a scenario where he does nothing. City council still has the ability to condemn the building as it currently stands.
Okay, got it.
We're simply removing that because Nicholas Sec has turned it over to a new owner and we
Right,
have
and we're
faith
gonna-
they're going to be
yeah,
doing
for
something.
good faith. Okay.
And everything that he's planning to do in 2025 would get it uncondemnable.
Right.
Okay.
He plans to bring it back, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, bring it all up so it can be inhabited as a commercial space and the second floor as habitable for residential as well.
And then will you share with him this grant program for next year?
Well, also I would believe that we would be going for the 2026 CDA program. I think this would likely be our focus
Yep.
project
Yeah.
on that
Right.
for 100,000. There may even be some Met Council stuff we can go after as well to assist.
Good.
Update on Dollar General?
We're
Right?
waiting on 2 permits from them, then we can release our building permit. Otherwise, we're waiting for the MnDOT letter and then plumbing review specifications from the state.
Have they purchased the land? Oh, they have. Okay.
Okay,
They've been bugging us for the permit. We keep telling them we need the last 2
two
items.
thends, and we'll give you the permit.
And then
Do
they
you
will,
have any update on if it's going to be a market or not?
they've indicated that they believe it will be a market.
Really?
Great.
Believe it will be a market.
Wow.
That's good.
That'd be beautiful.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. Do you need to talk about the Mayor Car Show at this point and reserve some funds for your Wednesday car show deal?
think we got them.
I've
Okay.
cleared that.
Okay.
That's within my spending authority.
Here's the-
The first Wednesday, we're gonna have Rod Lindner, who is local, and his two daughters, and I don't know who else will be in the band, but the band's name is Green River.
Green River.
When is that, May? or
June 2nd?
Third, fourth,
Third,
whatever
yeah.
it is, on
Okay,
whatever
June.
Wednesday is the first one. So that'll be a kickoff, and of course, we'll end it with Oktoberfest on the first Wednesday in October,
I like it.
which, yeah, a lot of people like that old time music, so might do that again.
Yeah. They got food lined up for the year and,
Food?
yeah,
Yes.
brats and kraut for Oktoberfest.
Mhm. And German potato salad, warm.
Mm, sounds
Warm.
That's the
good.
main one. That's what it's judged by, right, Bradley?
That's right.
That's right. Got a
That's
warm potato salad.
Warm
German.
potato salad.
Anybody want to do number 7? Or ain't we that far yet?
Yep, I'll make a motion to
Also
adjourn.
known as number 9. And
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Wakefield.
motion's been made in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Abstain.
It's a new word for you, Tom, huh?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It was a lot easier.